Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
All right, it is that time once again.
Ho, ho, ho.
The festive Christmas season is upon us. And the beginning of one of my favorite episodes of every year, it's the Systembolaget Christmas Beer release.
Yes.
Where we try the best and usually some of the worst beers we'll try all year, and all around the Christmas table setting type beers.
Yeah.
And there is and what's so crazy is it used to just be like a collection of dark lagers, but now we're seeing a breadth and scope of Christmas style beers that we have not seen before.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff. But hence the ho ho hos. We love hos.
We do. We got all the hos in the different area codes.
Yeah. So you bought a lot of Christmas beers. I
always bought a lot. I always go deep because there's so many. There's like 100 beers or something, maybe even more than that. I can't remember the exact number that are released. So it's the first weekday of the month of November is when they all get released.
Yeah.
And then it's a really big deal. So in Europe, this is like a super big calendar day, the Christmas beer day, because it's in Denmark. I think it's actually a day off work or something. I mean, they really celebrate it over there.
Yeah.
And in other countries, it is kind of the kickoff for the beginning of the Christmas season. Where in the U.S. they have Thanksgiving. In Northern Europe, at any rate, it's the Christmas beer season.
Yeah. And I also bought some Christmas beers, but
yes.
The lineup we have today is all beers that you bought.
I know. Not that we didn't want to try the beers that you bought.
But I think this lineup is more fun.
This is a much more fun lineup because we're going to start with a non-alcoholic beer this year. It is from Spirit of Sweden, and it is a polka gris cold drink. It's called polka. It's alcohol free. They also make an alcohol version, which I discovered on the shelf. It wasn't with the other Christmas beers; it was with the ciders.
Of course.
But because I saw this one with the non-alcoholic beers, I thought, well, let's give this a try.
Yes. So polka is candy cane, basically.
Right. It's candy canes. It's
super pink.
Super pink.
Oh Jesus!
It smells like peppermint. This might be a mistake. This might wreck our palates for all of the other beers to come after this.
Do you want to move it to last? Let's do that.
We'll save it for the end then, because this smells so much like peppermint and like candy canes that I think
it might ruin
its mintiness might ruin the rest of the beers, because the rest of the beers are more traditional dark kind of beers.
Yeah, except for the next one,
yes.
Which is a Christmas seltzer.
Yes.
A hard seltzer with a taste of julmust, which is a Swedish soft drink for Christmas.
Yep, and it's
made by Brygghus 19. So
4.5% ABV.
That's Kristianstad, right? Karlstad. Karlshamn. No, Karlstad is to the north. Karlshamn, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to describe julmust, how would you? What would the flavor you would call it?
Spicy Coca-Cola. When I say spicy, I don't mean chili. I mean like nutmeg and stuff.
Yeah, like if you have pumpkin spice flavored stuff, this is Christmas spice flavored. So it's like ginger nutmeggy kind of flavors, which aren't too different from pumpkin spice flavors. But it's not one of my favorite things.
No.
I've come to like it better over the years. I'm more tolerating of it, but it's definitely one of those. It's kind of like root beer or Dr. Pepper. If you had it as a kid, you'll probably like it as an adult. But if you were to come in as an adult and try it, you'd be like, this is absolutely horrible. I can't believe you are making me drink this. Which is how I first felt about julmust when I tried it.
So the internet says that julmust tastes like a blend of Coca-Cola and root beer.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Was created by Swedish chemist Harry Roberts in the early 20th century as a non-alcoholic alternative to beer.
Nice.
Doesn't taste anything like beer.
And then Coca-Cola tried to come in and make their own version, and it failed miserably. And
Yeah,
ever since.
I think we say
only.
this once a year, but Sweden is one of the few countries where the sale of Coca-Cola drops during Christmas
Yeah.
because of this julmust thing.
Yeah, and there's what, 2 companies that make it now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right. What's your
This actually smells exactly like a julmust
kind of.
is supposed to smell.
Honestly,
Wow.
if I didn't know there was alcohol in this, you could probably serve this to kids and they would really enjoy it because it does have that sweet julmust flavor to it. The aftertaste is really, really sweet.
Yeah, the aftertaste is like powdered sugar sweet.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of soft drinks, so this to me tastes like just a super intense, sugary soft drink.
I mean, I like this because of the nostalgia connected with julmust. It really does taste like Christmas, Swedish Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
As a seltzer, I mean, it does exactly what it's supposed to, but I've never given julmust a particularly high rating as a beverage. It's a purely nostalgic thing.
It is. It's a pure nostalgia grab that everyone buys into. It's almost like a begrudged. Like when you talk to Swedish adults and they're like, oh, julmust, and they're like, it's like pepperkaka and gingerbread at Christmas time. It's like, oh, you gotta eat it. You gotta have at least one glass.
Exactly.
Glug, no one's like, ooh, it's spiced wine season. Most people are like, well, you're gonna have a little bit, and then you can say you've done it for the year.
Yeah, but Glühwein or Glögg has if you buy the correct one, it has much better flavor. Like gingerbread cookies and julmust, you just have to exactly. Tradition forces you to have at least one, but you don't really want. You could just go without it. But the Glühwein or the Glögg it can taste really good, and it really fits the bill when you come out inside. You've just been outside. Maybe it's been snowing. That warming.
Now, do you add a little extra brandy or vodka to yours, or do you just heat it up straight from the bottle?
But that depends on what. Some of them are like 20-30%, and those already have it. If the low ABV Glögg, I probably would add something.
Yeah. So what would you give this?
I think I gotta increase the rating because they nailed what they wanted to nail. So like a 3.75.
That's pretty good. I was gonna go 3.25, 3.5, only because it's just so exceptionally sweet.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it nails the flavor profile, but I just feel like I'm getting diabetes as I drink it.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, what do we have next?
So this is Vreta Kloster Brewery's Christmas beer for 2022.
Yeah, they release one every year, and this is the 2022 version.
I think this is the second year they do it because the Vreta Kloster is a pretty new brewery.
Okay. Yeah, I know they don't do a lot.
I think they've only been around for like 2 or 3 years. So
Okay.
it's not impossible that this is their second Christmas as a brewery.
And this is a Belgian quad, based on the smell.
I smell. Oh, that has to be.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, it's a Belgian quadrupel.
yeah. Let's see.
Definitely tastes like sugar and plums and raisins.
Yeah, it smells. It's 10.2%. It smells very, very Belgian, quadish. Like even without looking, I could tell. And the color is really, really nice. It's that kind of deep brown, but pretty clean looking beer.
So in the mouthfeel, together with the sweetness from all these flavors, there is kind of an acidity. I wouldn't say it's infected by any means, but there's an acidity that I wouldn't normally equate with a
For me, it gives a little bit of a balance to the beer.
I don't think the flavor is supposed to be there.
Probably not. It is probably considered an off flavor, but I kind of like it. It really balances the richness of the beer for me. Yeah, I think
it's not doing it for me.
no. I mean, this tastes like a middle of the road Belgian quad to me. I don't hate it.
I can agree with middle of the road.
But I'm not a huge Belgian quad person to begin with.
I have some really high historic Belgian quad.
Well, I mean, back in the day, you could only get Belgian quad.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
I think maybe we should have thought more about the lineup and how we're trying these, because I think the next beer is going to suffer.
No, it's not.
But yeah, so what do you think about this one?
3.5.
Yeah, I think 3.5. That's pretty much what I figure. Maybe it's a little cold. Maybe we try it again at the end, see if it's a little warmer.
We can try it again.
If it develops, has time to breathe, because that 10% needs a little burn off. Okay, next up.
The next beer is from your favorite brewery, Remmarlöv, and it's their Christmas beer, Julöl.
This is a new one for this year. They usually release, I think, 2 Christmas beers. For the past couple of years, they released the same 2 Christmas beers. And then this year, they've come out with a new one. Nice. And this is it's a pretty good, I think it's a brown ale.
Probably.
Yeah.
It doesn't say on the label.
Okay. It just says Stockbottle. So
Stockale,
yeah. Strong ale. Comes in at 5.9%. It's
smells very sweet.
Yeah.
Malty.
Yeah, it's really malty. It's a very malty beer, I would say. This is one of the better Christmas table beers that I've tried. Like, if I was going to pick a beer to serve at a Christmas table, this is the one that I've tried recently that I think best embodies that kind of Christmas beer style table beer that you would serve.
It has a really good label. It fits the Christmas table quite well.
It does. It's got their little chicken icon on there, wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah.
And it's got little spruce. You would almost think this is some sort of spruce beer because they're using a lot of spruce leaves or something, but there's nothing like that.
That's a Christmas tree.
Yeah. So that's just a Christmas tree iconography. Nothing special on the label itself that indicates there's any kind of adjuncts or anything added to the beer.
Let's try it.
Yep.
Cheers.
Let's go. Cheers.
Untapped has it as a red ale. Really?
Really?
It could be.
Could be.
Count it as a red ale.
I don't know that I would count it as a red ale, but sure, why not?
But it has that like bitterness combined with caramelly malt flavors.
Yeah, the end notes are really malty, and there's a lot of flavor in the final notes.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good red ale.
Yeah.
Problem is,
it's still a red ale.
it's not the most exciting style.
No, it's not. But and this is why I think it works so far the best as a Christmas table beer, because it's going to go along with your cheese and herring and salmon and dark brown bread and everything like that. And ham. And it's not going to, and meatballs. And do you do the brown beans and...
Brown beans?
Brown beans? You do brown beans? Maybe that's more of a middle...
No, brown beans, no.
You do the green cabbage, right? You do kale? Or do you do brown cabbage?
In my family, we've eaten more brown cabbage.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you serve it the same way, the green and the brown?
I don't know. It just comes in it's part of the second round of food.
Yeah.
So in Sweden, I don't know if maybe we talked about this in the past, but in Sweden for Christmas table, you have your cold stuff first. So it's your pickled herring, your usually your warm smoked salmon, some sort of bread, cheese.
Very likely that there are egg halves. Boiled eggs that you just cut them in half. Yeah. And they're pretty cold by the time you eat them. So they get included in the first serving.
Exactly. And then the second serving is more of a hodgepodge based on regional delicacies more than and some of it's very family based, but it's usually like meatballs and maybe some potatoes of some sort, usually some sort of cabbage. Yeah. Some places have, like I said, brown beans. Some places don't. What else do I remember? There's usually the little Prinskorv, which are the little baby sausages.
They're so great.
They are. They're one of my favorite parts of the Christmas dinner. And then, Yeah, and then from there, there's usually 2 or 3 other things that are kind of based on the region or family traditions.
And the real classic is the Jansson's Temptation.
Jansson's Temptation, yeah.
Which is like a potato...
It's a potato gratin with
anchovies
in it. So it can either be slightly fishy or really fishy, depending on, I guess, which families are making it and which ones they prefer.
Exactly.
I prefer with zero fishiness.
But
just give me the scalloped potatoes. I'm really good with that.
Yes. But you are correct. This beer would fit those flavors the best of the ones we've tried so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the Belgian quad would be a dessert more than...
Yeah, it might be the second beer that you have if you're having two separate beers. So that's why I'm going to give this one I think a 3.75.
I'm going to give it a 3.25, even though I agree that it would fit the Christmas table.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just think it's a really good red ale that I would probably drink quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Our next to last beer.
So this brewery is a pun.
Mm-hmm.
It's called En Aleigen Brewery, but it's spelled in a way that it's not alien as in space creature. It's ale-igen as in the Swedish 2 words for ale again.
Ah.
So it's like another ale brewery, but it's pronounced an alien brewery.
Cool.
And this is their beer, Christmas Shilling 2022. And we checked it out, and Untapped has this as an old ale.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, one of the most misunderstood styles. An old ale is supposed to have a quite strong acidity. It's supposed to be semi-sour. I mean, the genuine old-style old ales. But nowadays, it's just a catch-all for, we made a strong, sweet beer. Like, no, you... Call it a Scottish wee heavy if you're going in that direction.
This comes in at 5.9%, and this is I can't quite read it. It's a dark ale with what? I think it's...
A dark ale with a great character. Fits wonderfully during the dark time of the year.
Okay. Well, it doesn't have very much of a unique smell to it. It's kind of like
And they're from
beer.
the city of Kungälv.
Where?
Kungälv.
I don't know where that is. That's a new city for me. I'm not
I
familiar
have
with
to
that.
admit I don't know where
You
Kungälv is.
gotta look up that as well to see where
Kungälv is...
It's in the...
This is really exciting for our
I know,
listeners.
it's in the country. Oh, it's over near... it's above Gothenburg.
North of
Göteborg.
Gothenburg.
Yeah, so it's just north of Gothenburg. All right.
Looks like a brown ale.
It smells like a dark lager, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really have much of a distinct aroma on its own.
No,
The reason I got it was because of an old ale, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
old ale, that's fun.
Let's try
see,
that.
Let's see what abomination that is." That's weird, man.
I would say that this is not an old ale as the style is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I think they were going for something else.
And they call it an old ale.
And then they're like, oh no, this isn't a brown ale, it's not a red ale, it's not anything. Let's just put it into old ale because why
Right.
not?
That is how I would describe this beer. It's not anything.
Exactly.
It's not. But this other thing, it's not great, but it's not really bad either. This, for me, this is actually kind of the definition of a 3 or 2.75 kind of beer because there's nothing that I don't like about it, but there's nothing I like about it either.
Exactly.
It doesn't really taste like anything per se. I mean, there is a little bit of a roasty, malted flavor at the very end, but you got to be paying attention for it.
Yeah, you could.
I think you would miss it otherwise.
Attention.
I think you would almost kind of think of it as like flat instead of maltiness to it.
The mouthfeel is quite meh.
Everything about this beer is meh.
But I can agree with you, like in the 275-3 area.
Yeah. It's not.
No.
Yeah, I mean, again, this would probably be a pretty good Christmas table beer. It's not gonna offend anyone with strong flavors, and they're probably just gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever, and they're gonna drink it and move on to something else. All right. So that's not bad so far. We're doing pretty good. We've had some real stinkers in the past. So overall, I've been pretty happy with these. But now we get our polka.
Now it is time.
Oh wait.
Oh wow! It has opened up.
Yeah. Now it's really toothpastey. Sorry, I'm going to jump back to the Belgian quad before we do this.
Yeah, the Belgian quad isn't convincing me.
No, we're going to stick with our original flavors. But this is...
Oh, it's so toothpastey, so pepperminty.
This is so much peppermint. Cheers.
Down the hatch.
I'm loving the pink color too.
Oof. Ooh, that's...
It's not as toothpastey as I thought it would be, but I'm really, really glad we decided to do this last because it does taste like I just rinsed my mouth with fluoride.
Yeah.
Man, that is...
The flavor isn't very good.
They are not messing around with their... It's almost like a peppermint oil extract that's been carbonated.
Unfortunately, I dislike this beverage.
Kind of... Like, this is a real wild card. I didn't know what this is going to be, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to try the Polka Grease peppermint flavored...
I tried one of our earlier beers, and they have been ruined by this flavor.
Yeah, there's nothing good coming out of this.
I mean, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. It's for people that really, really, really love peppermint.
Yeah,
because I don't think kids would like this too much because it's way too. You know what this would be really good for? This would be really good for making some sort of Christmas cocktail.
Probably.
I think that is what this is really a mixer.
Yeah.
It's labeled as a non-alcoholic beer, but I really think, and I'm not 100% convinced that Spirit of Sweden doesn't make mixers for drinks as well. Now that I'm thinking about the title, but it was in with the non-alcoholic beers. Maybe not. I don't know much about the company itself, but this is definitely would be great if you're doing some sort of Christmas martini cocktail kind of.
That has to have a peppermint flavor.
It has to have a peppermint flavor in it. Yeah,
probably.
I think this would be really, really great for that. But as something I would drink on its own, this is definitely not that.
No, it's not very pleasant. It's like a 1.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. As a beverage, it's a 1. As a mixer
it has potential.
It has potentials to elevate a vodka-based cocktail of some
sort. But I don't want
sure.
peppermint cocktails.
Well, I mean...
But that's my
problem. But you have to be in the Christmas spirit. Otherwise, how will people know?
But I am in the Christmas spirit. I'm not in the peppermint spirit.
Oh, that's very true. All right.
So we did it.
We got through all of them. The Polka Grease was a real kick in the teeth. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think we've got some fun beers here. I think the quality has improved so much over the last 5 years of Christmas beers. For
I
sure.
agree. There were some years where if you had gone all in on a Christmas release, like 2008, you went all in, you bought all of them. Then the next year, you would find that, oh no, it's the same beers being released again, plus 5 that didn't get released last year. And you would buy those, and then the year after that, oh no, now I have this like 2 new beers. It really was like that.
No. Well, I remember for the longest, and it's only been, like I said, probably over the past 5 years, that like breweries are really stepping up their Christmas beer efforts. So I think there was a good 20, 30 beers that were released that were new releases that weren't like just rebrews of previous beers. Because you always got your big brands that are putting out the same beer every year because that's what everybody like wants and comes to expect. And then you got your little guys that are trying to shake it up a little bit and get their foot in the door in some way or another. So that's why I always think it's the most fun.
And it was the same with the Oktoberfest release and the Easter beer release.
Easter beer release is the worst.
Yeah,
we've only in the history of the show we've only done Easter beers once, and I was like, we never need to do that again.
No.
And Easter beer releases, that is legitimately the same companies put out the same Easter beers every year, and there's very, very few new ones that come out.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll change coming up. If we see it where a lot more breweries putting out more Easter beers, we'll definitely revisit it. But I don't see any need to.
But I remember the first year I was a beer nerd, 2007, the releases were much smaller. It was like, 8 beers. That was a big release.
Yeah.
And then the Oktoberfest beer release came. It was like 25 beers, and I hadn't tried any of them. It was like, wow, this is super amazing. Come 2008, I'm going around like, oh, soon it will be Oktoberfest time. We're gonna get so many new beers. 2 new beers, rest were the same from last year.
Yeah.
No!
It's always the same German beers. It's
Yes.
like the same 10 German beers, and then the local breweries put out there.
Exactly. And we used to always
German.
get the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest.
Yep. We don't get that anymore.
No, but Sam Adams has totally switched focus.
But we get their winter ale now.
Right,
That
right.
came out again this year.
Right.
All right.
But now we're kicking off our Christmas calendar.
Yep. Next episode you hear will be the start of our Christmas calendar, and that's 24 episodes in a row of Christmassy goodness. Should be a lot of fun.
I am so hyped because I have really put in a lot of effort to bring...
You've really been phoning it in the past couple of years. I'm
No.
really glad you're bringing your A game this year.
No, but I am...
No, I think this year is going to be pretty amazing. I'm really super hyped about this year as well.
Looking at the beers I've prepared, this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a banger as well because I've got some pretty great things. All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. We'll see you in a couple of days. Until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.